Awesome. Hello there and welcome back to another episode of the MasonSpeaks podcast. Today I'm with an old friend of mine, Luke. How are you doing today, my mate?
Not too bad, mate. Long time no see.
Long time no see indeed. It has been a little while, to be fair, hasn't it? We haven't quite chatted like we used to. But you're doing well. You're keeping yourself well, keeping yourself busy.
Yeah, I've been around the pond, but yeah, I'm doing a lot better than I was, I think.
Good. I'm glad to hear that, mate. That's really good to hear. You, if anyone who's watching doesn't recognise Luke from any of my previous videos, do you want to give us like a little bit of a background about you, who you are, what you do, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I used to be most well known for being the cocky magician kid. I did magic and stand up on the circuit under the name of Luke Tricks. I did theatres and all that sort of stuff. And then in the recent years, I've grown quite a following on the national and Europe, to be honest, scene for making basically pop punk music, essentially. And yeah, just staying creative, basically, and just keeping not a normal job, basically.
And what we were just talking before we went live and before we started recording the podcast, that it's so important to stay creative and to stay active in your mind. I mean, for you personally, what is it that drives you to do that? Is it just the enjoyment you get from it, or is it helping you with something else?
Yeah, I do get an enjoyment from it, but also I feel like I need it as well. Like, I think it keeps you like mentally healthy as well, just to be doing something creative. And like we spoke a little bit about it, and we spoke about it when we did a podcast years ago as well, about like drug addiction and stuff like that. But it's I think very much it's just keeping myself occupied and just addiction in general, keeping that void that you need to fill. If you can fill it with something that is creative or something that's good or for a good cause, then you don't fill it with something else, you know what I mean? So yeah, it's probably a bit of that as well, but also just get a real good fill out of perception, I guess.
Are we still there? Are you still there?
Yeah, still there.
Sorry, that's perfect. The internet connection went a little bit out. I had to just change my Wi-Fi connection there. Sorry, but yeah, no, I appreciate what you're saying. I agree 100%. It's important to stay active, stay focused on things, especially if you're dealing with other things in your life like addiction, alcoholism, anything like that. As I mentioned to you, and I've sort of alluded to a little bit in the past on my previous podcast, I did have quite a big issue with alcohol. I was drinking just far too much. I was drinking far too often. I was drinking every day. Beers, vodka, spirits, whiskies, whatever it was, anything I could find that would give me the fix I needed to feel better about myself or feel better in what I was doing, and that's what I did. And I think the reason that being active helps so much with that is because as soon as your brain's occupied, you're forgetting about what it is you were drinking for. For me, I was anxious and stressed, so I would drink. For other people, it's they're worried or they're self-conscious, so they drink to try and take the edge off. As soon as you start drinking at every point that you feel like you need to take the edge off, that's when it becomes a problem, in my opinion.
Yeah. When anything becomes the solution, it's normally a addiction, I think, to be honest. To be honest, like I said before when we were just chatting, I think drink is an easy one to fall into because everyone goes out and has a drink at the pub, or but then for me, when I was drinking religiously, I think the bit it became to an addiction was when it was just me sitting in my bed drinking. It's like, all right, so I'm not out with my mates having a pint, it's me just literally watching Netflix, drinking vodka or whiskey or whatever,
and like, I got to a very similar point where I even got to the point where I was sat there kind of carling, and I was like, I don't even want to drink this. There's nothing about this. There's nothing about this that is appealing to me, other than the fact that I'm going to feel better once I've had it.
Yeah, that was the same with me, mate. I'd go. This was about a year ago or a year and a half ago, to be fair. But I'd go and I'd buy a pizza, and then I'd buy a bottle of like vodka, or whatever. So it'd be like, oh, but I'm having it with my meal. It's like I'm drinking a whole bottle of vodka still. It's not healthy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. It becomes so habitual that everything you're doing is like, well, when can I have the next drink? And you convince yourself it's not not an issue anymore. You know, I could stop whenever I want to.
Yeah.
I don't have to drink it. So I'm just doing it because I want to, because I enjoy it. But the second I realised, right, I have got a problem. I am an alcoholic. That was the day that I was like, right, let's change something. What can I do? So for a week, I really cut down on how much I was drinking. Like really cut down. I probably halved it, because I was easily drinking. I don't know. I mean, I'd start off on pints. I'd have 4 or 5 pints. Go on to a couple of vodkas, perhaps maybe a whiskey, maybe cocktails if it was at the pub, that kind of thing. I'd really mix it up. I wouldn't just drink the one thing. So I went from that to. So I moved back to my house in where I live now. I moved back with my mum and dad. Cause I thought, get me back on track, get back to basics. And I cut down, so I'd have 3 or 4 cans of an evening for about a week. And then after that week ended, I was like, right, that's it. I don't want to drink anymore. I'm not drinking because I like it. I'm drinking because I need it.
Yeah.
And once I'd realised that, I said, that's it. That's enough. I've had enough. So as of today, I'm 18 days sober. I should say 18 days sober. I think it was the 1st of February I started. Thank you. So that's where I am now. But enough about that for now. Let's talk about you, Luke. Where have you been? Where you've been flying all over the UK. You've been flying all over the UK, touring, doing music, all sorts. Tell me about that.
When we last spoke, it was kind of it was COVID here, I think. So it was a weird one, because basically what I was used to back then was I was used to performing in theatres, doing magic, and I did a bit of music, but it was more creating beats for other people just in the background. And when COVID hit, I thought at first, it's only gonna be a month, then I'll be back in the theatres, back to what I do. Of course, it was not a month. So I then started creating loads of music, recorded literally probably about 100 songs during COVID, and then got signed to a record deal that kind of changed everything. So it was like, right, this is becoming the job then. And then from there, like, the record deal just was liking me making. I've always been someone, like, I'll openly say that I've always been someone that does the provocative. It's always been the different, it's always been the quirky. Whether people like it or not, it's always been very out there. And I think the music was no different, to be honest. I made some really weird songs, released them, and some did really well. And then from there, to be honest, we went on a big 40-day UK and Europe tour with a band called Will and the People, that are a really big indie rock band. And then from then in 2023, we did our first headline tour that had sold out shows. And then we just finished a headline tour that was fully self-booked out of my back pocket. That was last month. And then we're about to announce, literally this year, we're going against everything that the music industry stands for, basically, that is release plans and having to wait on your music. And we're going to release 2 or 3 albums, do another tour, just basically go really, really hard this year, basically.
It sounds like you're smashing it out, to be fair, mate. It sounds like you're just hitting it harder than you ever have before. What's pushed you to do that now? Why is it now that you've decided to go ahead and do that?
So when I signed the label, I was really excited. I was just before I turned 19, and the album was being made. And looking back, it wasn't actually, I'm not going to slag them off, because there was good bits to it, but it wasn't the greatest of deals. They ran me for a bit naive, and it wasn't the greatest of deals at all. So when I came out of that label and now we're fully independent, do still have management that are really supportive, to be fair to them. It's we can do whatever we want now. So it's we're dropping an EP, and then all the music that we've been told, you can't release this for that reason or that reason, we're just going to slap it on an album, we're going to put it out. And then we're doing something very different. We're announcing some shows in a few weeks' time called Finding My Happiness Tour. That is purely about that void that people try to fill. So whether that is drugs or whatever. And I realised, for me, it wasn't drugs. Even though I did take a lot of drugs and I was alcohol addiction, it was never that. It was just I needed something to fill that. It wasn't that. It was girls, or it was partying, or it was sleeping with people, or whatever it is. So this tour and this whole brand that we're changing, it's about finding happiness. Because if you're not happy with yourself, you're never going to be happy with your life, essentially. And we really want to spread a positive message this year, essentially. So that's very different to what we did when we started. That was just, we're drunk rock stars. So
well, you played the role well of you played the role well of the drunk rock stars, didn't you? I mean, you proper gave it a go. Like, don't get me wrong. I mean, I could see from all your social media posts, you were just in. I mean, I think you still do it now. I think you're in the gigs, in the venues. You got your top off. You're going for it. You're just laughing. You just look like you're having a great time. I'm just gonna double check and make sure that the live that we're doing that works. We're doing this obviously live on TikTok as well. Just wanna make sure that you can hear everything perfectly on there. 2 seconds, bud.
No worries.
I'll cut this out of the podcast.
That is cool.
Yeah, that's all sweet. I just wanted to make sure they can actually hear you, because I know they can hear me because of the mic, but I didn't know if they could hear. Yeah, they can hear you just fine, so that's all sweet.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make sure that. Yeah, we'll carry on now. Sorry. Yeah, so I mean, you're out touring, gigging the lot, doing everything that you wanted to do, everything that you're all about. What's the best experience you've had so far?
To be fair, mate, it's the headline tours, because we're what we try and do, essentially, we want to make a safe space where people can come out whatever they are, whether they're representing queer community or whether they're just not at the easiest upbringing childhood wise, and there's just a safe space where we basically, some of our songs are just completely out there, weird songs about weird subjects, kinks, dress sense, whatever, and it's just like, fuck it, just be yourself. We're making fools out of ourselves, we're all having a laugh together, and we're just having a really good night. And it's like, I think with the headline shows, it's like we have such a weird but amazing fan base of such different diverse people coming out, and it's just really cool to see, and it's cool to see it growing as well, like every single year. And I think some of the best experiences would have been probably the tour that we just did, or the tour before the headline tour, our last one. Yeah, they were just really cool shows. Everyone's singing the words back, everyone partying. It was just really nice to see, to be honest, something that has been created completely by ourselves, getting a good reception from audiences.
Yeah, I mean, it must be a feeling like no other when you're on stage. People have come there to see you. They know the words of the songs that you're singing. I mean, you must feel famous.
Yeah, like it is. It's a nice feeling. It is, and like it's definitely an ego boost. That once again though, like I feel like it's changing for all of us this year. We really are. It's the music we're putting out is slightly different to anything we put out before, and it's just a bit of everything. We're not categorizing ourselves to like one genre of music, and to be honest, like we are just doing it to try and make ourselves happy, people happy. Now it was not about us being rock stars or ego or anything like that. Well, we love it, but like we're kind of changing the image a bit this year. We want to just shine light on like the world's a bit fucked, so like it's just good to have a good time, really.
Is that something that you think's come about since you got older, since you got since you matured a bit? Is it something that now it's more of a case
like
that you
when I was younger, I just wanted to make a good amount of money, really, and just wanted the pressure of getting a job that can pay well, a healthy relationship. Both of those haven't happened, so it's like I think it's just about the whole thing. I've realized is I can't be happy until I'm happy myself. So now it's like just letting everything go and just being like, I need to make the best person myself can be, you know what I mean, and feel happy in myself, my own skin. I never really have been, to be honest. So, and the boys are very supportive. Our whole team is very supportive, to be honest. And we're all very, very similar, to be honest, so we get each other quite well.
I know what you mean when you say you have to be happy in yourself before you are going to be happy, and that you have to be happy with yourself, within yourself, and in the way that you are, because you can try until you're blue in the face to do things that make you happy, but until you're content in who you are, what's around you, then you're not. It's not as easy to find it, and that's one of the things that I've found in the last couple of weeks when I've gone on this sort of journey, if you will, of rediscovering myself and rediscovering who I am, what I'm all about, what's important to me. The last 2 weeks after the initial, say, 5 days of not drinking, the last 2 weeks I've had have been some of the best evenings, days, mornings I've had in a long time, and that's because I'm happy in myself. I've got more time in my own mind. I've got more space to think about what I want to think about, rather than thinking of nothing because I'm drunk, or thinking of the things that are bad because that's the only time I get when I'm sober. It's very much. It was a case of, when you're sober, you think of all the bad things, so you drink to get rid of them. But now I'm at a place where I'm at a nice level. I think that being happy in yourself, that being content in who you are, what you're doing, where you are, that's the important bit. Would you agree?
Yeah, 100%. And also, like, when the people around you can also notice that change, I think is a massive thing, because it's like they're noticing it. So it's like, oh, I must be doing something right. And then you realise, oh, fuck, I put this person through fucking a year or fucking me being like this or whatever. Like, it's good to have, like, I cut out a lot of people basically because it was like, they just weren't doing me any good, really. It was like, you know, like, not in a rude way to them. Like, I hope they're enjoying their lives and all that, but like, they just weren't adding any benefit to my life. And I realized this with relationships and friendships. Like, if someone isn't going to bring you any gain in life, and that doesn't mean, like, you know, give you money or success or anything, but like, if they're going to bring your lifestyle down, it's probably worth not having them in your life, sort of thing. Because it's only good to have people that are going to, you know, support you and, you know, make sure that, you know, you're right in your toughest times as well as your goodest bits. You know what I mean?
100%. We've just had on the live that we're doing now, we just had someone say that they've just joined, but we're both bang on. So it looks like perhaps it is an opinion that's shared, that if someone, and like you say, it's not about giving you cash, giving you, you know, success, giving you an ego. If they're not contributing something into your life like you're contributing to theirs, if they're not making you feel better on a day, if they're not giving you any sort of enjoyment, if they're not giving you peace of mind, if they're not giving you something that is improving your day-to-day life, or you know, whenever you see them, if it's always negative stuff, if it's always you're giving your all and they're not trying, if they're not giving you their loyalty, then what is the reason that you're keeping them in your life? And I think it's hard to do, to get rid of someone that you like, that you get along with. But sometimes it is a key thing to progress, is to divide, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You can't go through life with every friend that you make, keeping them there, and having, like, you know, by the time you're 70, you'd have 500,000 friends because of all these different people that you've met. It's about finding the right group of people that you want to be around. I mean, there's a nice phrase I've heard a while before. If you're the smartest person in the room, you need to go to a different room. You know, because if you're always around the same people, and if you're not bringing them up, then they're bringing you down. And that's something that you've got to really work out in your mind which way you want to go with it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So, Luke, tell me, recent gigs that you've done, recent places that you've been. Well, just give me a few of the examples. I know you've been to Birmingham a few times, and London. You're quite a regular down in London. Have you got a favourite venue you've had so far?
Favourite venue? For growth wise, we did a really random pop-up show in Brighton last year. And when I say random, it got announced 4 days before the show happened. That is completely not how it works in this industry at all. For reasons of, like, selling tickets and stuff like that, you just don't do it. And we were like, fuck it, we're going to Brighton for a week, why not? We're going to play a show. So we booked a venue with 4 days notice, and we went, we want to sell this venue out, we're going to make it happen. It's like, you know, the biggest queer city in the sense of, like, advertisement in the UK. We're like, well, we're going to sell out this show. And we did. We sold it out with 4 days. That was pretty impressive. And then the show happened, and my bassist, he nags me. We have this on and off joke that basically, you know, he'll love to play tequila, you know, yeah, at one of our shows. And I've just always said no, because at the end of the day, it's just fucking stupid. It doesn't fit our show at all. Anyway, we're in Brighton, and I was pretty drunk this night, to be honest, and he started playing it. I was like, Dom, just shut up. And someone filmed it and put it on TikTok and Twitter. And on Twitter, the video literally blew. It got 12.3 million views in the space of, I think, a week or something. It was crazy. Our following started growing. And then from then on, every show we play, we get requested to play tequila. Ben and I wrote hundreds of songs, put so much effort into this. And that's like the 10 seconds that they want.
It's strange how those things happen. Yeah, it's strange how those things occur, because you're trying so hard to come up with something original, and then as soon as there's one snippet of just pure off the cuff random stuff that goes on, and then all of a sudden you're on Twitter getting 12 million views for something that initially you sounded annoyed about.
It happened again though. We've had 2 moments that happened again. I basically wrote this really kind of mental health song that's not like any of our other tunes. I was like, this is the song I think this year that will do really well. We're going to release it around Mental Health Day, do like awareness for men's mental health and all that. I was really like proud of it. I thought, oh, this is the tune that's going to do really well. And then 2 months before it, we released a song about pegging, and I bet you can guess which one blew up. It was the song about pegging, mate. It got in like the independent charts, blew up, and I was like, you can't write this. Like, literally put so much hard work into this mental health tune that just flopped. It did not do well at all. And then this crazy song just, once again, blew up. It was like...
It is weird. It is weird. I mean, but I suppose it shows, in a way, that some people nowadays, they just need something to enjoy, something to laugh about, something to sing with their mates. And I mean, so much of the world at the moment is people talking about bad things, is people going through bad things, people experiencing things that you would never wish upon another person. So when you have 2 songs, one is supposed to be this inspirational thing about mental health and make people feel included, and regardless of how important that is, some people are going to want to sit there and go, you know what, that's great, but I want to listen to someone getting pegged, or the song about someone getting pegged, because that's just the way of the world. People need an escape, and when they look to artists and music and performances, I think a lot of people use it as an escape and something that can distract them from what they're currently doing, like a song about pegging. Is perfect for that. As soon as someone says that, as soon as the song starts playing, you think, well, what's going on? Why is this? What is this song? And then all of a sudden, everything that was already in your mind is gone, and you completely you're laughing, you're smiling, and you think things are funny, you think it's good music, and all of a sudden your whole attitude, your whole mentality's changed. And that's what groups like yourself, that's what artists like yourselves. That's what you do, I suppose. Your idea is to change the direction of someone's mind.
Yeah, 100%. Like, it's also like when we got part of that song, we realised pretty quickly that there was a niche, a very small niche, but there was a niche, and we were like, well, let's make, because it kind of ruffled the queer community quite a lot, because a lot of people were like, yeah, this is great, like people standing up for the queer community, singing songs about this stuff, and then there were a few like, right, are these guys queer baiting a bit? So it kind of like ruffled the community up. So we were like, maybe we need to put out more songs. Then we released a song called She's Gay and a song called I Kinda Like It, and these weird like BDSM songs basically. And we still have ruffled the community up a bit, but I still stand by the statement that if you're getting people's attention, you're normally doing something right. Like we got an email from Paul McCartney's label saying take down a song. It's called Bloodstream, and it's because I ripped his voice from a YouTube video and put in the song, knowing that it would get a copyright strike, obviously. And it did. Got a letter from his label, and I sent it to my management, and they went, Luke, you are amazing, because at the end of the day, yes, copyright claim, but we got the attention of one of the biggest bands. Like he was in the Beatles, you know what I mean? We got the attention, and that's the whole thing. There's no such thing as bad publicity. He's not going to sue us, because at the end of the day, we're not big enough for him to really care, you know what I mean? So it's like, there's no such thing as bad publicity. The fact that Paul McCartney knows who we are is pretty cool.
100%. I mean, if that's the way you want to go about it, and you want to, whether it's pissing people off, making people happy, making people sad, making people feel something is the way that you're going to get noticed. And if that's your prerogative, then by all means go for it. And obviously worked. You've got Paul McCartney, one of the 2 remaining live members of the Beatles, and him or his company's label knows who you are. They just think, I mean, they're probably looking at it thinking who's this prick, mind, but they know who you are nonetheless.
I've always been provoking people a little bit, even back when I was 15. It's like, I've calmed down, but I don't think I'll ever stop.
No, I think that's in your character, Luke, to be fair. I mean, when I first met you, I think it was when you got arrested by a police officer outside Crown Gate.
Oh, the undercover police officer.
Yeah, I think that was one of the first times I ever met you. I was like, who's this guy? Why is there someone in plain clothes got his arms behind his back? And that was like, oh, it's only Luke. It's just standard Luke behaviour. I was like, oh, all right, fair enough. That's what it is.
That happened on the tour last year, mate. We were in Bristol, and we came out of a venue, and basically we had finished our show and we'd gone to a bar afterwards, yeah. And there were quite a few people asking for autographs and stuff, signing stuff and all that. Had a drink and all that, and the bouncer comes up to me and basically goes, "Because you're gathering a bit of a crowd, is it okay if you can leave? Because we don't want it to overcrowd here in the bar." And I went, "No, I'm not leaving." Like, I'm not going to leave. And then a minute later, ruffle. And the next minute, I know I'm getting carried on by a leg. I'm trying to smile. I was like, "This is a flashback, isn't it?"
Yeah. I mean, there's some things that you go through in lives and they'll always, that you'll remember them forever. But it's a case that some things you'll get reoccurring, because especially that kind of thing. If you're in that scene, if you're in that crowd, you're there to make a fuss. You're there to make it get noticed, and it's gonna happen. I mean, they're used to it. The police and so it's obviously never ideal to get thrown out of a building, but you were there doing what you thought was right. They were there doing what they thought were right, and that's about as far as it goes. I mean, I presume nothing else happened from there. It was just, right, see you later, mate, jog on, and that was it. You had your fun.
The guy did say to us, there's a clip of this actually, and he goes, "You are now banned from every venue in Bristol," and I was like, right, that's a bold statement, but we've been back to Bristol, so like. I think that's part of it though. Like, a lot of the fans come out because not necessarily they want to see us get dragged out or whatever, but like they just like the chaos of a Try2Smile show. There's almost like, that whole, oh, we're coming out for just a good night and see, will Luke, take all his clothes off and spit alcohol over his mates, or will he be kissing up his bassist torso? Like, what happened?
Yeah, I mean, it's a strange one. I say strange. It's not strange. When I say that, I mean, in terms of it's the sort of show it. It's like Marmite, isn't it? You either love it or you hate it. It's not for everyone. You know it's not for everyone.
That should be my Instagram bio. We are Marmite. You love us, or
But people who watch this podcast, they might check out your music. Some of them are going to check out some of your videos, your TikToks. Think, yeah, fair play. This is for me. I rate this. Other people are going to look at it and go, "What?" Do you know what I mean? Because it's just not. It's. But that's exactly what you wanted. It's a niche. Yeah. The niche that you've got is going to be such a strong community. As you get bigger, or as you get stronger with the community, that's what's going to keep happening. People are going to look at it and think, "This isn't for me." Other people are going to be there and think, "You know what? This is for me." It's like they've read into my mind. This is what I want. A chap on the live has just said, "What's the name of the band?" And it's Try2Smile. Do you class yourselves as a band, or are you Try2Smile? How does it work? Is it?
Yeah, it's technically me, but like I have a band that tour with me.
Yeah.
When it started, it was just me. It was just me and a guitar. But now, it's a full band. Yeah, basically.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea because like you said, it's pop punk. You called it.
Yeah, like it's pop punk, but we made our own genre of music, and that normally takes years and years and years for like iTunes to approve. But they approved it for us, and we didn't have to pay or anything. They just approved it. So we're the only artist in the world that own kinkcore. So we make kinkcore music.
Okay.
That is, but it's the nearest style of music. I'd say it's punk, but like we don't really stick to a genre. Like we got some kind of dancier shit coming late this year. We got one track on the album is literally just me on a piano, no autotune, nothing. Like so like we're very experimental with music. I think. I grew up listening to like Irish music, believe it or not, and shit like that, and country and folk. I've listened to hip hop, metal, so I have an appreciation for all music, really. So I like to experiment and dabble in all genres.
Yeah, I mean, you've always been the kind of person who likes to test the boundaries.
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? I mean, since I first met you, every time we've met up, there's not been a day where you haven't seen how far you can push something.
Yeah, I do like to push the boundaries 100%, and I think in the day and age we're living in, where the world's a bit fucked, there's a lot of things for me to push, really. Like with Rishi Sunak, he's doing a brilliant job for me at the moment. So I've been talking about him a lot on the tour recently, and
how's that got down for you?
Fuck Rishi and all that every night.
Well, you've brought him up. What's your thoughts on him?
Without getting too political, I think he's a bit of a bellend, but like Like, he's all mouth with no substance. He's one of them, and I'm not blaming him 100% because most politicians, it's all mouth, and then the minute they get the power, they just don't follow through on what they say. But he's got a lot of shit to speak, hasn't he?
It's again, like you said, without trying to get too political about it. I mean, it's an open forum conversation. It could be live on TikTok as well. I don't know how much they censor stuff, but it's a strange world that we live in. It's a strange place. I think any politician is going to find it hard in the way we are.
Yeah,
no one's going to no one's going to come on the political stage, tell people exactly what they're going to do, be 100% honest and follow through with it, because you wouldn't get voted in. If you're coming on telling them exactly what you want to do, because people aren't going to want you to say, I'm going to do this, it's going to affect you for a little bit, but then after that it's going to be fine. They want to hear all the good things. A politician will get voted for if they come in and say, look, the first week I'm chucking all the taxes away, they're going, and then everyone's going to get 10 grand put in their bank. You're going to vote for that, wouldn't you? Well, I'd vote for politicians if they said that. But the case
I give him credit for like him having the balls to say his opinion, because he's got some strong opinions, and fair play for him speaking out. But in the same token, he should keep his mouth shut. Like when he's speaking about the trans community and the queer community, like it's just not needed, I don't think. But like, to be fair though, I find it quite interesting though, because when people say stuff, it gives me a lot to write about and a lot to think about. And I don't specifically just come with political tunes. It's not me. It's not what I really enjoy doing, even though there's some brilliant political artists out there. But I like to sort of incorporate a little bit into the themes that I write about and stuff, especially to like make statement songs and stuff like that.
Okay. We've got someone in the chat currently saying that they think that Rishi Sunak is trying to get us in a steady stride. Says that Labour would be a disaster. We need more of a libertarian-based party. Thoughts?
It's an interesting thought, to be fair. Labour, it would be hard to say what would happen because they've not been in power for so long. But last time they were in power, there was a lot of debt that they put us in. But like, it's like what you said, Mason. I don't think anyone could do an amazing job now.
The world's in such turmoil that anyone who gives it a go, they can try their utmost, but you're either going to get it by luck or you're not. Because
anyone could get the power and deliver on mouth. You know what I mean? Say the right things, but like following through on it, I think everyone would be in a pretty tricky position.
So going back to you a little bit. So last time we spoke 3 years ago, what's that? We're talking 2021. So we were right within COVID pandemic time. Since we've come out of COVID, how have you grown as a person? How did it affect you coming out of it? How have you felt it? Did it give you a new lease of life? Because now you've got this freedom back again that was taken away from us.
So I came out of COVID and I kind of stopped the magic. I put on pause. Not saying I'll never go back to it. I might do, but like it kind of gone on pause, and I was kind of really nervous because, of course, just signed a deal, and they were pushing for live shows, and I was a bit like, I've never done a music like, I sang on stage before. And I was very kind of nervous about it. And then, of course, we got the deal for this big support act tour coming through, and we looked at it, and to be honest with you, it was financially not doable. Like, I'll be honest, they were offering money. They weren't like they were asking us to do it for free, but for the amount of traveling and hotels and food, and then all the crew that would bring, we were going to make quite a massive loss on the tour. And that's quite normal, man, when you're a support act, because at the end of the day, it's just not highly paid. So we had to balance it out and be like, there's 40 shows on this tour. Is it worth doing? How full are the rooms? Is it actually going to get us an exposure? I'm so glad we did go on that tour though in the end, because when we came out of COVID, we were all, like I say, not done a live show as Try2Smile before, and I think it was just me and a guitarist on that tour, not a full band, and I think it kind of helped me develop my stage presence, because I've always been okay on stage, but it's always been like I've hidden behind a prop, doing my magic and my stand-up, and when I'm doing this, it's just me, and then I've had to like develop my stage presence. So that tour, each night I was getting more and more confident, more and more learning the songs because I was messing up a bit, but also the band that I was touring with, Willing the People, they were so supportive. They were like really behind me, and that was back in the time when I was kind of relapsing a bit, and it was hard though, because in the music industry a lot of people were doing that sort of shit, so when you're around it 24/7, it's very hard to be like, no, I'm okay, or like I won't, or So like I was performing like night after night, and then when I came with that tour, I had the bug. I was like, I want to play my own headline show, and that's when I booked my first ever headline show management. That was a London headline show, and we did it, and I swear down, I'll be completely honest with you, 200 cap venue, and 13 people showed. It was not good at all, and that's why there's a lyric in one of my songs that goes 1.2 million followers, but only 10 people showed up and I was there. And that's because you can have whatever amount of followers you want, but it won't necessarily mean you can fill a room, sort of thing, you know what I mean? And that really put a lot of shit into perspective, because I was like, I've just done a 40-date tour, I've grown massively, I've put out my first EP, booked a headline show, and only 13 people have shown. What's gone wrong? And I was like, this was when the label was kind of chatting about dropping us, and we were a bit like kind of hoping that they would drop us because then we can go independent, and management were like, you'll do a lot better, you'll be making a lot more money. But in the same token, I was like, I want to be able to fill rooms. So then after that, we went so hard throughout 2022. We did so many support act spots, a couple festivals, and just hit promotion massively on like Twitter and Instagram and stuff like that. And then at the end of the year, did another headline, small venue again, like 120, but sold it out. So over the 7 months, we completed that. And then we did our tour, February 2023. That was Bristol, Nottingham, Manchester, Birmingham, and London. And we sold 4 of the 5 shows out on that tour. So that was pretty wicked as well.
Wow, fair. So you really have grown. And COVID, post-COVID, you've grown. Everything that you've done is post-COVID, sort of. It was after it all slowed down, and then we could start going back to normal life again. That's when it became for you, this is what I'm going to do now.
Yeah.
So you said you had these tours, you managed to fill out the venue, sell them out. How did that feel when you realised that, you know what, you've got a capacity venue and everyone is there to come and see you?
It's weird, mate, because back then I wasn't happy. And my band was shocked because my band was, well, one of them was a student and the other one was a producer and drummer. And they were like, this is sick, Luke, this is what we've always wanted to do. Like, you're literally living the dream of most musicians, and you've achieved this in such a short space of time. Because my drummer is in another band and they've been going for like 7 years and they still can't fill a room with a headline show. So he was like, this is literally what every band achieves to do. Why aren't you happy? But in my mindset, it was like, right, I've sold at 120. I want to sell at 250 now. It's like always on to the next thing. It's like, I want to grow. And to be honest, that isn't a recent thing. That's always been me. It's always been, I want to get next thing, bigger. And I've realised now, especially since I've put everything into perspective, we're literally with COVID and the cost of living crisis, people are struggling. Like, if it's, let's put 20 quid on our electric meter, or let's go out and see Try2Smile, you'd be stupid not to put your money on your electric meter, you know what I mean? And I've just put into perspective, it's like, I need to be grateful for each person that's literally spending their money coming out. And like, even if we play a show and there's 30 people there, I will meet everyone now. I'll literally appreciate every single person. And like, we're playing 200 cap rooms now, and it's like, great, 200 people coming out and they're all paying to see us. Like, be grateful. And like, I really put into perspective, because I'm really happy that those people are coming out and they're enjoying themselves, and it's not always all about on to the next thing. And I think since I've put myself into that perspective, we've actually done better, because it's not me over stressing every little thing. It's just, I'm enjoying the moment, and then just progressing like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Like you said, it alludes to what we were speaking about earlier, until you're happy in yourself. And it sounds like you had a realisation of that you weren't happy, but it wasn't a case of the things around you weren't making you happy, because everything around you was going great. And it's the case that you have to be content in yourself. And now that you are content in yourself, and you've got the realisation that sometimes it's okay just to be okay, you're happy. And that's just perfect. Yeah. It's just a perfect conclusion. Well, I would say conclusion. It's a perfect way to finish what you've started, if that makes sense. You've got, and by that I mean in a way of self-discovery and your own journey. Obviously, this is just the start of where you are musically, career-wise, and I hope for everyone's sake that this goes as far as it possibly can, because it's really important that we have all sorts of different kinds of genres, cultures, artists out there, and especially the fact that you're trying to take away from mainstream media is pertinent, because if everything was monopolised like it currently sort of is heading that way, then it just goes to that you only see what they want to show you, if that makes sense. So the way that
Yeah,
you're
that does make
going
sense.
about it, you want to stay independent with your management, keeping things in line for you, but you want to stay independent and that kind of thing. That's perfect. It's really great. And on that note, it's a really nice way to finish off the recording of this podcast. I'm going to end the recording of it now. If you want to say a couple words about when your next show's going to be, or where people can buy your tickets, I can leave some links on the YouTube video of
Yeah,
this as well,
sure.
if you can.
Yeah, so it's just Try2Smile_music on Instagram. That's our main social media handle. And yeah, we're dropping the Damaged UPP 23rd of February, and then a full album start of April. And then we'll have scattered headline shows throughout the year that we'll be posting about on socials very, very soon.
Perfect. That's great. Well, thanks everyone for watching.